Hi, congratulations on your new RV. We're really excited for you. Please make sure before you're signing that you bring the following items with you. If you're a cash buyer, please make sure that you bring a cashier's check, no personal checks at time of signing, or you may bring actual cash. If you're a finance customer, please make sure that you bring proof of insurance listing your specific lien holder. If you need that information, please call us ahead of time. Also, make sure that you bring all valid driver's license of all persons that will be listed on the title. If you have a trade that you're trading in with us, please make sure that you bring your 10-day payoff as well as your title and all persons who will be listed on the title of that trade. Arrive 30 minutes early before your appointment time so we can properly inspect your unit, and also make sure that you have the fridge on and running prior to arrival. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at 810-686-0710. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Hello, this is Mike with TradeWinds RV Center, here to congratulate you on your open range light 268 TS fifth wheel. I'm here to walk you around it, show you how to use a few things to get the best out of your camping experience. Let's start by talking about arriving at the campsite and a few things to take into consideration when parking. On your campsite, you got a couple slides, but more importantly, leave room for that big old awning. On your off campsite, beside your slide, which is pretty deep, so there's plenty of room for that. I also want you to think about where your power and connection and water connections are going to be. Your power is going to plug in all the way on the rear corner of your off campsite or your driver's side of your tow vehicle. Then your docking station will be next to your big storage right here. So park accordingly so you can utilize the facilities at the campsite. Once you arrive, you're going to unhook our hitch. Inside your battery compartment up here is where your landing leg controls are. You simply retract to lower, extend to raise. You're going to extend it a little bit, get your vehicle up out of the way. Again, retract to lower. I do recommend with a unit of this size, get you a stick-on level with your slide closed, find the middle of your unit, and have someone watch that while you bring them landing legs up and down to your level. Once you got your unit level, next thing we're going to do is stabilize it. Your RV is equipped with power stabilizing jacks. I'm going to hit extend. Tell you as these come down, they do got some locking arms on them, so make sure that this bolt is loose. Extend that down. Sometimes one will come down before the other. Actually, most of the time, that's how they come down on units. The other one coming down. I'm going to recommend stabilizing jack pads. Jack pads are going to protect the feet of your stabilizing jacks from dirt and debris. Hot black top in the summer, keep it from sinking into that. Better distribute the weight. You only want to run these down. See that one over there? We only want to run these down just until we are taut and it feels like it's going to start lifting the unit. Once we feel that, we don't want to lift the unit. We're already level. We don't want to change that. Now we got our unit level and stable. We can hook up our power and water. Big long 50 amp cord plugs in here on the rear. The way they go on now is they plug in at about 11 o'clock, turn it to your right, and then lock your gray washer on. Got that on, you're all set. Now should you need to plug into a campsite that's 30 amp, we have a new convenience pack. It's called a dog bone. That'll bring you from 50 down to 30. And if you ever need to plug into 110, throw that 50 to 30 to 15 amp reducer on the end of that. That's your power hooked up. Let's hook up your water. They're real simple on these. Got three levers and instructions on how to set them up. At campsites, we're going to hook up to city water connection. Red to the left, blue down, black to the right. City water connection. First and foremost, your water pressure regulator. This water pressure regulator is going to reduce the water pressure to 40 to 50 psi, protect the lines in the unit. Always use this when putting fluid in here because you don't know what the water pressure is at different campsites. Hook that up, hook up your hose. We're set to city. One more step. Hot water heater. Now all we're doing at this point, folks, make sure our drain plug's back in. Throw some plumber's tape around that. I recommend tape because putty will gum up on you. Get some plumber's tape around that, get that in there nice and snug. Then you can turn that hose on. When your water's running, go ahead and go inside and open up your slides. Get in there and open up all of your water taps. Get all your water taps opened up, get a nice steady flow of water going through them, all the air out of the lines. Come outside here, lift up on this pressure release valve. Should get a little water coming out of here. If you do, you know your hot water heater is full and you can turn that on from indoors. All right, that's how you set up a city. Let's say we're gonna go dry camping or boondocking. In that case, we're gonna do a two-step process. We're gonna start by filling the tank. Tank fill, everything goes to the right. We're gonna fill it in the same spot. We're going to treat our hot water heater the same way. We're gonna go inside and run our lines to get all the air out of the lines the same way. However, what we're gonna do is while we're filling this, we're gonna go inside, and where you check the levels of your black and gray tanks, there's also a freshwater button. Keep an eye on this while you're filling it up. Once it is full, remove your hose, put your cap back on there, and then whenever you want to utilize that water, you'll turn on your water pump inside after you switch this back to where it says pump. Same as water, or same as city, but now it's gonna be pulling from the freshwater tank. Don't turn on your water pump when you're hooked up to city water constant. That is already pressurized and does not need that. All right, we're all set up with power and water. Let's go ahead and walk around the rest of the unit, continuing here in the docking station. Up top, we've got our cable for the campsites, 110. Again, our hookups. This is where you would siphon in to winterize your unit. Black and gray tanks, we'll talk about those when leaving the campsite, dumping those. City water and freshwater connection. Over here is our black tank flush. Again, we'll talk about that when dumping our black and gray tanks. Then you have a hot and cold shower out here with a quick connect to pull that out of here. And start out by running your water lines up and through here so that you can close this when you're done. Next to that again is your hot water heater. Beside that is a flue for your furnace. Two things on that. One, make sure it's never blocked. And two, if you are running your furnace, steer clear of that. It does get hot. Continuing down your campsite, they have a liquid that you can put on your slides. Keep them pliable. Highly recommend getting some of that. Got a big outdoor security light. That's your ODS light on your panel. Again, your stabilizing jacks and power. You got a ladder, utilize it. Go up there a couple times a year, check the seams of your roof, and caulk with recommended RV roofing caulk. Accessory hitch. Your big awning. Coming over to our campsite on our short slide, we've got access to the back of your fridge. Up top, a couple of marine grade speakers, another ODS light. Big storage area. Inside here, you're all set up for TV, cable, cable, and 110 here. There's a mounting bracket here if you want to mount the TV on a swivel. Access to all of your power and water lines. You can store extra propane on the side. Big storage there. Couple of propanes, lefty loosey to open, point it toward the tank you wish to be using. I recommend going to the tank at a time, even if you have to get up in the middle of the night and switch over. At least you know you're down to one tank. Set in the middle, we'll do an automatic crossover. There's some vents for your batteries. And lastly, your batteries. Check your battery post every now and then, make sure nothing's wiggled loose. About covers everything out here. Let's go take a look on the inside. All right, coming up inside your unit, first thing I always like to point out is the fire extinguisher. Make sure that you and everyone that's camping with you knows the fire extinguisher is located by the entry doorway in case of an emergency. Little note on slam locks. They work best when gently slammed. To our left, as soon as we come in, up here is going to be our control panel. Starting all the way over on the left is going to be our awning light. Our awning control. Just want to show you on your awning. When you run your awning out, you see the top is patterned, the bottom is white. So yeah, only run this out until your white flap falls down. If you hold this button down, it will continue to run itself out past that point and start running itself up backwards. So only go that far. Don't run it out further than you need to. As I run that back in, come back over here, show you up top are a bunch of outdoor security lights, the ones I showed you outside, one for each side. Then your porch light. Below that is where you turn on and off your water heater. To the left for gas, to the right for electric. It does make a difference, choose the correct one. Next red button over to the right is going to be where we turn on our water pump. Up here is where we'll check the levels of your brand new battery, your fresh black and gray tanks. Up here is your slide controls, table side, stove and fridge side, and bedroom slide. Previous owner marked it there for you. Oh, in between those is your max air vent. I'm just going to touch on, come over here above your kitchen area and show you what that does. It actually turns on and opens up your max air vent. And then from this control, you can change the speed. You could have just opened and closed the vent without turning on the fan. Just hit fan off. It will close itself and shut the fan off. Continue on, you got a couple recliners. There, parachute pull, yeah, just pull up on this parachute pull type handle. You will have to push these down with your own feet. Great spot for remotes. Coming into your kitchen, looks like your table will remove. You have to pull these poles out. You need to remove that for anything. Lighting above that. Nice lighted pantry. TV and stereo on your remote. Touch TV first. Point it toward the TV and turn it on. When you arrive at the campsite, go into menu, go into your digital channel scan. I'm going to show you that real quick here. See that working, but go to menu. Come all the way over to channel. Go down to auto scan. And then run your digital scan so you'll pick up local channels. We'll shut the TV off. Touch radio, turn that on. Brings up your Furion AM, FM, Bluetooth, DVD, CD player. Really cool sound system here. Where it's dual zoned. Shut it off indoors, now it's playing outdoors. Shut them both off. Turn them back on. So our modes, down here you can go to Bluetooth, AVN, auxiliary, back to radio. Headphone, USB port, auxiliary jack, nice sound system. Also remote there for it. Coming around your island, going to point out your 12 volt carbon monoxide propane detector. The reason I mention that's 12 volt, it's always running off your battery. So if you're out dry camping or boondocking somewhere and nothing plugged in charging your battery, if you're going to be gone for the day, use a battery disconnect to keep this from running your battery down while you're out. I have a self-explanatory microwave down here. Make sure that's empty, show you that working. You do have your light and fan. You on your stovetop, turn that to light, hit your spark. I don't know if your gas is on, I don't think it is. But once your gas is on, those will light up there. And for your oven, you will go down to a pilot light. Your Norco fridge, turn that on auto. Auto means when you're plugged in, you're running off electricity. As soon as you unplug, it'll switch to gas if your gas is turned on. Or simply turn it all the way to the right to turn on just gas. 1 through 5, 5 being the coldest. 4 seem to be a nice setting for that. To the left, coming up your hallways, can be your thermostat. Let's start by kicking your air on. Your AC also has what's called a quick dump, which if it's really hot in here when you arrive in the campsite, open up this quick dump. That'll allow the cold air to circulate and get it even colder in here. Shut that off. Right down to off. Shuts off rather quickly. Longer than I thought. Now I'm going to go to heat, turn the furnace on. I need to turn the temperature up a little more. Now it should kick on. Furnace. Now generally when you shut the furnace off, most furnaces take a few minutes for that fan to cycle through before it physically shuts off. Before going up these steps, one last thing in here, down to my right is going to be your breaker box enthusiast. You got a couple of 15s in there, a couple of 20s. Highly recommend having some of those with you when you go camping. Up the hallway into our bathroom. A couple things mentioned in here. 110 with GFCI reset, a light and fan for a hand crank open vent here. Can turn on and off that fan from up here. Keep it turned on there. You can shut it off from here. A little plumbing to maintain. Keep an eye on your plumbing. This is all PEX, it looks like. You're bouncing the house down the road, make sure things don't wiggle loose. Make sure that when you travel, you have this shower door snap closed and your vents closed. Back in our bedroom, our lighting for that is here. We already have a mount, which you can put a TV on for in here. Cable and 110 are up here. That is your antenna booster. Make sure that's on so you pick up your local channels. Got a couple of charging ports up in here. Make sure, but yes, you do have some storage underneath your bed for looks like some padding to make a sleeping area by your sofa or your dinette, excuse me. I think that about covers everything in here. That about covers everything on the inside. Let's act like we're leaving the campsite and close the unit up. Make sure all these doors and drawers are closed in here. Especially make sure nothing is in between your bed and your slide. Leave that light on for now. Shutting off all lights and vents. I like to come to my control panel and shut off all of my lights, including anything interior. Then I know, here's your ceiling lights here. All the rest of the lights I have to walk through and shut off individually. One-touch lightings are really nice. I'm going to come up here and shut the bedroom light off. And I'm going to close this bedroom door. We already know that nothing is impeding your slide from coming in. Come back to our control panel. Underneath it, turn on our ceiling lights right here. We're going to start with our bedroom slide. Before I do, I'm going to say doors and drawers. Go through the unit, make sure all doors and drawers are closed. Nothing's going to impede your slides from coming in. Everything is tucked away safely. We'll bring in that bedroom wardrobe slide real quick. Make sure your TV is tucked back and strapped in. You don't want it to catch on that slide. Next one is going to be our stove and fridge side. Again, doors and drawers all closed through here. And lastly, coming over to this other side, our table side. Again, making sure everything is put away. Don't want to break things just because we're bringing our slides in. Put the last one in. Be sure to shut off my lights and exit the unit. Before you leave the campsite, and I say that in case you're going to go in here and check the levels of your tanks on your board as we're dumping, but before you leave your campsite or dump station, lock and deadbolt this door, lift and turn this handle. That's how you want that door to travel. You don't want the horror story of your door coming open as you traveled. At this point, if we are out boondocking, we will come around to our off camp side and get up underneath our tire and dump our freshwater tank. Bring up our stabilizing jacks and head on to the next dump station or on home, depending on what you utilize while you're out dry camping. If we are at a campsite, we will unhook our water, our cable, our power, bring up our stabilizing jacks, hook up our hitch, and head on up to the dump station. At the dump station, park accordingly. Your dump is going to be right underneath your docking station. And we got a 10-foot hose, comes with your convenience pack. And take that, take off our dust guard, hook this up, put the other end in our dump. First thing you're going to do is pull that black handle. That black tank is going to be your sewage. Once it sounds like that's no longer draining, go inside, check the level of your black tank. Shows it's empty, come back out here. Leave this black handle open. Grab the hose at the dump station and hook up to this black tank flush. Let that run for a good 5 minutes. Again, emphasizing to have that black tank handle open. That's going to wash all that nastiness out of your black tank. When that's done, remove that hose. Make sure all that washout that you put in there has drained before you close this black tank handle. When that's done, pull this gray handle. While my grays are draining, that's why I like to get up underneath there and dump my low point drains. When them are done, if you are done for the season, you're heading on home for the year, you want to get rid of the water in your hot water heater, lift up on this pressure release valve. Now be careful, it's going to dump some hot water out of there. When that's done, flip that back down, 1/8" socket will get that drain off there. Again, careful, hot water coming out of there, and that'll drain your hot water heater. You want to drain that, you don't want stagnant water in there. It'll start smelling like a rotten egg. All right, when that gray is done, check that inside, make sure it's empty. Close that gray handle, unhook your sewage hose, and conveniently and sanitarily store it right here in your bumper. And head on home till next time. Again, we thank you guys so much for your purchase. Hope you enjoy this open range for many years to come. Happy camping.